Gather close, my friends, for tonight I speak of something that holds all existence together. You know the tale of mighty Ymir? How his flesh became our earth, his blood, the seas, his skull, the dome of sky above us. The worlds had been shaped from Ymir's fall, carved by Odin's hands and his brothers' will. But tell me now, what held them together? When Odin, Vili, and Ve first shaped the realms from the giant's corpse, they faced a great task. 9 worlds they created, each one complete, each one necessary. But how to connect them? How to ensure they would not drift apart in the void? The answer came not from their making, but from something that already was. Something that had grown in the very heart of creation itself. A tree, but not as we know trees. This was Yggdrasil, the world tree, an ash of such size and strength that it could bear the weight of all existence. This great ash became the pillar around which all the 9 worlds were arranged. Its trunk stands at the center of everything. Its branches reach into the upper realms, and its roots stretch deep into the lower worlds. Each realm found its place upon this cosmic tree, some resting among its boughs, others supported by its trunk, still others anchored to its mighty roots. And I have heard tell from the wise that this tree suffers much, yet endures all. Its bark bears scars from ancient battles. Its wood groans under the weight it carries. Creatures dwell within it, some that help, others that harm. Wells of power feed its roots. Winds from distant realms stir its leaves. It is the very framework of reality, the pillar that prevents all things from falling into chaos. When the tree trembles, the worlds shake. When its sap flows, life continues. When it stands firm, order endures. Yet this tree is no mere tree, it is fate itself. For upon its branches hang not just worlds, but the threads of destiny that bind all things together. Every choice made in any realm sends tremors through its wood. Every deed, great or small, touches the cosmic ash in some way. The sages say that one day this tree will face its greatest test. That the forces of destruction will assault it with such fury that even Yggdrasil may fall. But they also say that from its falling will come renewal, and from its wood will grow the tree anew. Tonight, I will tell you of this mighty ash, of the wells that feed its roots, the creatures that dwell in its branches, and the realms that rest in its embrace. I will speak of its suffering and its strength, of those who threaten it and those who tend it. For to understand Yggdrasil is to understand the very nature of existence itself, how all things are connected, how order and chaos dance their eternal dance, and how even the mightiest can fall, yet rise again. So listen well, and let me tell you of the world tree, the cosmic ash that holds all creation in its mighty arms, where gods and giants, mortals and monsters, all find their place in the great pattern of what is, what was, and what yet may be. Now let me tell you how this mighty ash appears to those who have the sight to see it. Yggdrasil stands like no earthly tree. Its size defies understanding. Its nature surpasses all we know of wood and bark. The trunk rises from depths beyond measure, thick beyond counting. No mortal army could march around its base in a lifetime of walking. This is the heart of all existence, the central pillar that bears the weight of 9 entire worlds. The bark is neither smooth nor rough as we know it, but something between, marked by age beyond reckoning, scarred by the struggles it has witnessed. From this great trunk, branches spread in all directions. These are not mere limbs reaching towards sunlight, but pathways that stretch across the cosmos itself. Each branch is vast as a mountain range, supporting realms where gods dwell, where light elves make their homes, where the powers of creation gather in their halls of gold and crystal. The highest branches disappear into realms of light that hurt mortal eyes to look upon. There the leaves shimmer with their own radiance, catching winds that blow between the worlds. The crown of Yggdrasil reaches beyond the dome of sky, into spaces where only gods and the highest powers dare to venture. but it is the roots where the tree's true power lies. 3 great roots anchor this cosmic ash, each one reaching into a different realm, each one as mighty as the trunk itself. These roots do not merely drink from earthly streams, they stretch deep into wells of power that have existed since before time began. Through these roots flows more than sap. Wisdom flows there, and fate, and the deep knowledge that shapes all things. The tree draws its strength from sources that even the gods must approach with reverence and fear. And here is where we find our place in this great design, my friends. Our world, Midgard, rests neither in the high branches nor the deep roots, but here in the middle, held firm in the embrace of the tree's mighty trunk. We dwell at the heart of Yggdrasil, surrounded by its living wood, supported by its endless strength. Above us, the gods make their plans in halls of gold. Below us, powers of darkness scheme in caverns of ice and shadow. But here, in this middle realm, mortal life unfolds as it should, protected yet not caged, supported yet free to choose our paths. When you walk upon the earth, you walk upon ground, held firm by Yggdrasil's roots. When you look up at the stars, you see light filtering down through the cosmic ash's mighty branches. Every mountain stands because the tree's foundation supports it. Every sea is held in place by the great trunk's strength. The tree lives and breathes as all living things do, but its breath moves not air but the very essence of existence. Its heartbeat marks not seconds, but ages. Its growth measures not seasons, but the rise and fall of entire civilizations. And tell me, what secrets do you think lie hidden in its roots? What powers sleep in wells that have existed since the world's first dawn? What creatures make their homes in branches that span the distance between stars? For Yggdrasil is not a silent, motionless pillar holding up the sky. It moves, it feels, it responds to all that happens in the 9 realms. When great deeds are done, the tree trembles with the force of them. When tragedy strikes, its leaves rustle with sorrow. When joy fills a realm, its branches sway as if dancing. Through the tree's wood flows connection itself, not just sap, but understanding, memory, consequence. A word spoken in one realm travels through the trunk to other worlds. An action taken in Midgard sends ripples through branches and roots that touch every corner of existence. This is why the 9 realms are truly one great community, bound together not by chains or walls, but by the living wood of the world tree. What affects one realm affects all others, for all drink from the same source, all are nourished by the same mighty tree. So remember this, every tree in every forest is but a distant echo of great Yggdrasil. Every root that reaches down into earth follows the pattern set by the cosmic ash. Every branch that stretches toward light mirrors the world tree's own eternal reach toward the realms of power and glory. We are part of this tree, my friends, not just dwellers within it, but expressions of its life, participants in its great purpose. In our daily struggles, we echo the tree's own battle to hold all things together. In our choice to stand firm against hardship, we mirror the cosmic ash's eternal stance against the forces that would tear creation apart. This is the living axis around which all existence turns. Not cold stone or lifeless metal, but warm wood, breathing bark, flowing sap that carries within it the very essence of life itself. You ask about the secrets in the roots? Then listen well, for what I tell you now touches the very foundations of fate and wisdom. 3 mighty roots anchor Yggdrasil, and each one reaches to a well of power that shapes the destiny of gods and men alike. The first root stretches toward Asgard, toward the realm where the gods themselves dwell. There it finds Urðarbrunnar, the Well of Urd, the most sacred spring in all the 9 worlds. This well lies beneath the ash, hidden in a grove so holy that even the gods approach it with reverence. Beside this well sit 3 sisters who hold power over all that was, is, and shall be. Their names are Urd, Verdandi, and Skuld. The Norns, the shapers of fate itself. Urd knows all that has passed. Verdandi sees all that now occurs. Skuld weaves what is yet to come. These three sisters work without rest at their great task. Before them lies a web of fate so vast it encompasses every life in all the worlds. They weave threads of destiny, some bright as gold, others dark as midnight, all necessary to the pattern they create. No being, however mighty, escapes their weaving. Not even Odin escapes what they weave. The All-Father himself, with all his wisdom and power, is bound by the patterns these sisters create. I have heard tell that he visits their well often, seeking knowledge of what is to come. But the Norns speak only when they choose, and their answers bring more questions than comfort. Each day the Norns draw water from the Well of Urd, water so pure it gleams like silver, so sacred it makes all things whole. With this water they sprinkle Yggdrasil's root, and this daily tending keeps the great tree healthy and strong. Without their care, the cosmic ash would wither, and with it all the 9 worlds would fade to dust. The second great root reaches toward Jotunheim, the giant realm, where it finds a different well entirely. This is Mimisbrunner, the well of Mimir, where wisdom flows deeper than any mountain spring. Beside this well sits the severed head of Mimir, wisest of all beings, preserved by ancient magic and still speaking words of truth to those who dare approach. Mimir's well grants understanding beyond mortal comprehension, but the price it demands is terrible indeed. You know the tale of how Odin himself came to this well, desperate for wisdom to face the threats he saw gathering against the gods. Mimir looked upon the one-eyed god and spoke plainly. "I know what you seek, son of Bor, but wisdom is not given freely. If you would drink from my well, you must pay the price that all seekers pay." And what price did the giant's head demand? An eye. One of Odin's own eyes, carved from his skull and cast into the well's depths. Without hesitation, though surely his heart was heavy, the All-Father drew his knife and took out his own eye. The well received its payment, and in return, Odin gained wisdom enough to see the hidden connections that bind all things. He learned secrets of past and future, discovered the runes that hold power over fate itself. But forever after he bore the mark of that sacrifice, one eye bright with divine fire, the other socket empty and dark. The third root plunges deepest of all, reaching into Niflheim, the realm of primordial mist and ancient cold. There flows Hvergelmir, the bubbling spring from which all rivers first flowed when the world was young. This is the source of waters, the fountain from which creation itself once drank. But this ancient spring harbors a terrible guardian. In its depths coils Nidhogr, the corpse-tearer, a dragon whose hunger knows no end, and whose hatred burns cold as winter itself. This serpent gnaws constantly at Yggdrasil's root, with teeth sharp as ice, seeking always to weaken the great tree's foundation. Nidhogr does not work alone. Around him writhe countless other serpents, Goin and Moin, Grabakr and Grafvolithur, and many others whose names alone carry poison. Together they chew at the root, weakening it bit by bit, grain by grain, hoping one day to bring down the cosmic ash and send all creation tumbling into darkness. Yet still, the tree endures. The Norns tend it with sacred water. The root grows faster than the serpents can destroy it. Every wound heals, though slowly. Every attack is survived, though not without cost. And elsewhere, not at the root, but in the halls of the dishonored dead, Nidhogr performs another terrible task. In that place called Nastrand, the corpse shore, the dragon feeds upon the bodies of oath-breakers and murderers, those who violated the sacred bonds that hold society together. So you see, the three roots of Yggdrasil connect it to the fundamental powers of existence. From Urd's well comes fate, and the tending that keeps the tree alive. From Mimir's spring flows the wisdom needed to understand creation's deepest mysteries. From Hvergelmir comes both the source of all waters and the constant threat of destruction. These three wells represent past, present, and future, memory, understanding, and the eternal struggle between creation and destruction. Through these connections, Yggdrasil draws not just nourishment, but the very forces that make existence possible. The tree stands because it is tended by those who understand its importance. It endures because wisdom guides those who would protect it. It survives because even the forces that attack it serve a purpose in the great pattern. For without struggle, there can be no growth, and without challenge, there can be no strength. This is the lesson of the three roots, my friends. All things are connected. Wisdom comes at a price. Fate cannot be escaped, but it can be understood. And even destruction serves creation's purpose. For from every ending comes a new beginning. From every fall comes the chance to rise again. But the wells and roots are not all that dwell within the great tree's embrace. Yggdrasil is home to creatures both strange and mighty, beings whose very presence shapes the daily life of the cosmic ash. These are no ordinary beasts seeking shelter, but forces of nature that have made their home in the world tree since the beginning of time. At the very crown of Yggdrasil, where the highest branches reach beyond mortal sight, sits an eagle of enormous size. This great bird perches at the tree's peak, watching all that transpires in the 9 worlds below. Its eyes are keen beyond measure. Its sight reaches into every corner of existence. Between the eagle's eyes sits a hawk called Hvergelmir, the storm pale, whose sharp gaze misses nothing that moves in all the realms. Together, these two birds of prey keep endless watch from their lofty perch, observing the deeds of gods and giants, men and monsters alike. Far below, in the deepest root where darkness reigns eternal, dwells the eagle's ancient enemy. You know already of Nidhogger the corpse-tearer, that terrible dragon who gnaws forever at Yggdrasil's foundation. This serpent coils through the roots like poison through veins, always chewing, always seeking to weaken the great tree's hold upon existence. Between these two ancient foes, eagle above, dragon below, runs a messenger whose task shapes their eternal enmity. Have you ever heard of a squirrel whose whispers shake the heavens? Then know of Ratatoskr, the drill-tooth, who scurries up and down Yggdrasil's mighty trunk, carrying words between the eagle and Nidhogger. This brown squirrel, small as such creatures go, bears messages of malice between the tree's crown and its roots. What harsh words he carries, what bitter exchanges he enables. The old songs tell us only that he runs between them, bearing whatever cruel speech passes between eagle and dragon. Whether these words are true or false, helpful or harmful, the tales do not say, but that they fuel ancient hatred, this much is certain. Some wise men say Ratatoskr serves a purpose beyond mere mischief. By keeping eagle and dragon focused on their rivalry, perhaps he prevents them from turning their attention to more dangerous pursuits. Others claim he simply delights in stirring up trouble between beings far greater than himself. The truth, like many truths about the world tree, remains hidden in the deep places of wisdom. But the messenger squirrel is not the only creature to make its home in Yggdrasil's branches. 4 great stags leap and bound through the upper reaches of the tree, moving with grace that defies understanding. Their names are known to those who study the old songs: Dain, Dvalin, Dunair, and Durathror. These mighty deer feed upon the leaves and shoots of Yggdrasil, browsing among branches that span the distance between worlds. As they move through the cosmic ash, they keep its growth in balance, neither allowing it to become too thick with foliage, nor letting any part grow weak from lack of pruning. Each of these creatures serves the great tree in their own way, though they may not know it. The eagle keeps watch from above, seeing threats that approach from the upper realms. Nidhogger, for all his malice, forces the tree to grow stronger through constant challenge. Ratatoskr, whether by design or accident, maintains the balance of powers that keeps the cosmic ash alive and growing. The four stags ensure that no part of the tree becomes overgrown, that the flow of life-giving sap continues unimpeded through every branch. Even their seemingly destructive feeding serves the greater purpose of keeping Yggdrasil healthy and strong. Together, these beings create a living system within the world tree, predator and prey, watcher and watched, challenger and challenged. None could survive without the others. None serves a purpose that stands alone. They are bound together in patterns older than the gods, driven by needs deeper than conscious thought. The eagle needs the dragon to give meaning to its vigil. The dragon needs the tree to give focus to its hunger. The squirrel needs both to give purpose to his endless running. The stags need the tree's abundance to sustain their graceful leaping. And the tree needs them all, needs the eagle's watch, the dragon's challenge, the squirrel's energy, the stag's pruning. This is the great lesson of the creatures of Yggdrasil, my friends. In nature, as in life, all things are connected. What seems destructive may serve creation. What appears helpful may hide challenge. What looks like simple existence may be part of a pattern too vast for any single mind to grasp. When you see a squirrel racing up a tree in your own forest, remember Ratatoskr and his dangerous messages. When you spot deer browsing in your meadow, think of the four great stags that tend the world tree's branches. When you hear the cry of an eagle high overhead, know that it echoes the vigilant call of the great bird that watches from Yggdrasil's crown. For all of nature reflects the greater pattern established in the cosmic ash. Every tree hosts creatures that both help and challenge it. Every living thing exists in balance with forces that support and oppose it. Every being, from the mightiest dragon to the smallest squirrel, plays a part in the endless dance of existence that began when Yggdrasil first took root and will continue until the last leaf falls from its highest branch. In this great tree, there are no accidents, no meaningless lives. Every creature serves the greater purpose, whether they understand it or not. And that purpose is always the same: to keep the world tree standing, to maintain the balance that allows all 9 realms to flourish, and to ensure that the great story of existence continues from age to age, from ending to beginning, forever and ever without end. Now that you know of the creatures within the tree, let me speak of the 9 worlds themselves, the realms that rest upon Yggdrasil's mighty frame, each finding its place among the branches, trunk, and roots of the cosmic ash. In the highest branches, where light shines brightest and power flows strongest, 3 realms make their home. First and greatest is Asgard, the fortress of the gods, where Odin's great hall Valhalla receives the battle-slain. Here dwell the Aesir in their shining halls, Thor with his hammer Mjolnir, Frigg the All-Mother, Baldur the Beautiful, and all their divine kin who shape the fate of gods and mortals. Near to Asgard lies Vanaheim, home of the Vanir gods, those elder deities who once warred with the Aegir before wisdom prevailed and peace was made. From this realm come Njordur, who rules sea and wind, Freyr, who brings good harvest, and Freya the Seether Witch, who knows the magic of seeing what is to come. The third realm of the upper branches is Alfheim, dwelling place of the Light Elves, those fair beings who are lighter than the sun to look upon. Their halls shine with their own radiance, and their nature is so closely linked to light that they aid in guiding the paths of sun and moon across the sky. Here in the great trunk, where the tree's strength is greatest, 3 more worlds find their place. Our own Midgard stands at the very center, encircled by the deep sea and protected by the wall built from Ymir's eyelashes. We mortals dwell here in the middle of all things, neither in the heights where gods make their plans, nor in the depths where darker powers scheme. To the east of Midgard lies Jotunheim Giant Land, where the ancient enemies of gods make their strongholds of stone and ice. These giants are forces of the wild and untamed world, beings of such size and power that even the gods must treat them with wary respect. From their halls they watch and wait, remembering old grievances and preparing for future conflicts. Carved into the trunk itself, in caverns and halls hewn from the living wood, lies Svartalfheim, also called Nidavellir, home of the dark elves and dwarfs. These master craftsmen work in forges that never cool, creating wonders beyond mortal skill. From their workshops come the gods' greatest treasures: Thor's hammer, Odin's spear Gungnir, Sif's golden hair, and the fetters that bind the wolf Fenrir. In the deepest places, where the great roots find their anchor, 3 final realms complete the 9. First is Niflheim, the ancient mist world, where cold fog has swirled since before the gods were born. This is the realm of primordial ice, where the spring Hvergelmir bubbles with the waters from which all rivers flow. Opposite to the ice stands Muspelheim, the fire realm, where flames have burned since creation's dawn. Here dwells Surtur with his flaming sword, waiting for the day when he will march forth to battle. This realm of heat and flame existed before the world was made, and its fires helped shape all that came after. Between fire and ice, in the depths where neither heat nor cold holds sway, lies Hell, realm of those who die of sickness or old age. Here rules Loki's daughter, half living and half corpse, receiving all who do not fall in battle. Her hall is vast beyond measure, for more folk die in their beds than with weapons in their hands. But here is what you must understand. These 9 realms are not separate islands floating in empty space. They are all part of the same great tree, all connected by Yggdrasil's living wood, all sharing in the life that flows through its mighty trunk. When Yggdrasil trembles, all 9 realms shudder together. When the cosmic ash sways in winds that blow between the worlds, every realm feels the movement. Gods in Asgard sense what transpires in Midgard. Giants in Jotunheim know when dwarves work their forges in Svartalfheim. The dead in Hell hear echoes of battles fought in the realm of the living. Through the tree's wood flows more than sap. There flows connection itself. News travels from realm to realm along pathways of living wood. Wisdom gained in one world can reach the others through the great trunk's network. What affects one realm sends ripples through all the rest. This is why the actions of gods matter to mortals, why the work of dwarves serves all the worlds, why even the schemes of giants and the whispers of the dead can shape events in the land of the living. All are bound together by the world tree's embrace. All are part of one great pattern that encompasses everything that is. The trunk connects high and low, light and dark, order and chaos. Through its living wood, Asgard's gold shines into Midgard's fields. Through its branches, Alfheim's light reaches into the working halls of Svartalfheim. Through its roots, even Hell's darkness serves the greater pattern of existence. So when you feel the earth shake beneath your feet, know that it might be the tree adjusting its stance to better bear its cosmic load. When you hear thunder rolling across the sky, remember it could be Thor's hammer in Asgard, or giants marching in Jotunheim, or the forges of dwarves hammering out new wonders in their hidden halls. All things echo through the world tree's frame. All lives touch others through its vast network. All stories are chapters in the greater tale that Yggdrasil holds within its ancient rings, the endless story of how all things are bound together in the great pattern of existence. When Yggdrasil trembles, all 9 realms shudder together, and in that trembling we feel our connection to powers and places far beyond our daily sight. For we are all part of the same tree, all participants in the same vast story, all bound by ties stronger than iron and deeper than the deepest root. But do not think that mighty Yggdrasil stands in peace and comfort, untouched by pain or struggle. The great tree knows suffering as well as any living thing, for every day brings new trials that test its strength and endurance. Think of the burden the cosmic ash must bear. 9 entire worlds rest upon its frame, some among the branches, others supported by the trunk, still others anchored to the mighty roots. Every being in every realm adds weight to the tree's already crushing load. Every hall built, every mountain raised, every step taken by god or giant, mortal or monster, all of it presses down upon Yggdrasil's ancient wood. The trunk groans beneath this weight, its bark creaking like ship timbers in a storm. The branches bend and strain as they hold their precious cargo of worlds and lives. Yet the tree cannot falter, cannot rest, for if it should fail, all of creation would come crashing down into the void. But wait is only the beginning of the tree's torments. Remember Nidhogger, that terrible dragon who coils in the deepest root? Every moment of every day, the corpse terror gnaws at Yggdrasil's foundation with teeth sharp as winter steel. Each bite sends pain through the cosmic ash. Each wound threatens the stability of all that stands above. The dragon does not work alone in this dark purpose. Around him writhe the other serpents, Goin and Moin with their venomous fangs, Grabakr, whose name means grayback, Grafvalr, who bores like a living drill, Oin and his brother Oin working in terrible harmony. Svafnir spreads his numbing poison, while Grafitnir tears with claws that carry dissolution itself. Day and night these serpents labor at their destructive work, weakening the root grain by grain, hoping one day to bring down the world tree and end the order it maintains. Their gnawing never ceases, their hunger never satisfied, their hatred of the cosmic ash never dimmed. But the assault comes from above as well as below. Those four great stags, Din, Dvalin, Dunare, and Durathror, beautiful though they are in their leaping grace, also add to the tree's daily suffering. Their constant feeding strips away new growth before it can fully strengthen. Their hooves wear paths in the bark that take years to heal. Their browsing keeps the tree from growing as thick and strong as it might wish. Even the great eagle at the crown, noble in its eternal watch, adds strain to Yggdrasil's burden. When the mighty bird shifts its weight to peer into different realms, the tree must adjust its entire structure to accommodate the movement. When storms rage and the eagle spreads its wings for balance, the topmost branches bend beyond their natural limits. And there is Ratatoskr, that busy squirrel whose constant scurrying seems so harmless. Yet his sharp claws dig into the bark as he races up and down the trunk. His endless running wears grooves in the wood like water wearing stone. Even small damages, when repeated without end, become sources of real weakness. Beyond the physical strain lies something even more taxing, the burden of connection itself. For Yggdrasil is not just wood and bark, but the living link between all the 9 worlds. Every deed done in any realm sends tremors through the tree's consciousness. Every choice made by any being, from the mightiest god to the humblest mortal, creates ripples that the cosmic ash must absorb and transmit. The tree feels every death in battle, every birth of a child, every oath sworn, and every promise broken. It carries not just the weight of 9 worlds, but the weight of every story unfolding within them. Every triumph and tragedy, every moment of joy and sorrow, all of it flows through Yggdrasil's living wood, and the tree must bear witness to it all. Imagine carrying such knowledge, my friends. Imagine feeling every pain suffered by every being in all the realms. Imagine knowing every secret, every hidden sorrow, every unspoken fear. This is what the world tree endures. Not just physical strain, but the entire emotional burden of existence itself. The tree bleeds, though few can see its wounds. Its sap runs with the accumulated sorrows of ages. Its bark splits under pressures that no earthly tree could survive. Its leaves sometimes fall like tears, scattered by winds that carry the grief of all the worlds. Yet still it stands. Still it grows. Still it performs its endless task of holding all things together. For this is the nature of Yggdrasil. It endures not because the burden is light, but because someone must bear it. It continues not because the task is easy, but because the alternative is the end of all things. Order, my friends, is never still. It must be guarded at every moment. The peace we know in our daily lives, the stability that lets us plant our fields and raise our children, the very rhythm of sunrise and sunset, all of this exists only because the world tree bears its eternal strain. The tree stands because it chooses to stand, moment by moment, day by day, age by age. It accepts the gnawing of serpents, because that is the price of growth. It welcomes the feeding of stags, because that is the cost of health. It bears the weight of worlds, because that is the nature of its purpose. So when you hear distant thunder in the night, remember it might be the great tree groaning under its cosmic load. When you feel the ground tremble, think that it could be Yggdrasil adjusting its stance to better bear the weight of existence. When you see leaves falling in your forest, know they mirror the tears of the cosmic ash as it weeps for all the pain and beauty it has witnessed in its countless years of service. For we are all sustained by this willing sacrifice, the choice of a tree that accepted unbearable burdens so that life itself might continue, so that order might prevail over chaos, so that the great story of existence might unfold from age to age without end. Now I will tell you the deepest secret of all, the truth that lies hidden in the very heartwood of the cosmic ash, the mystery that even the wisest of the gods have only begun to understand. The tree bleeds, the roots groan, the branches tremble, yet it endures. Why? Why does Yggdrasil choose to bear such burdens? Why does it accept the gnawing of serpents, the weight of worlds, the endless cycle of death and rebirth? It could, if it wished, simply stop. Release its hold on the realms. Let them fall into the void. End the pain, the strain, the eternal responsibility. But it does not. And here is why. Because Yggdrasil understands something that we mortals, in our brief lives, often forget. It knows that meaning is not found in the absence of suffering, but in the choice to endure suffering for something greater than oneself. Every day, the tree makes the same choice it made at the very beginning: to stand, to hold, to connect what would otherwise be separate, to be the pillar around which all things can grow and change, and become what they are meant to be. This choice is renewed with every sunrise, reaffirmed with every beat of its vast heart, recommitted with every drop of sap that flows through its ancient veins. The tree does not endure because it must. The tree endures because it chooses to. And in that choice lies its true power. Not the power to escape suffering, but the power to transform suffering into meaning, pain into purpose, endings into beginnings. And here is the secret within the secret, the truth that connects our small lives to the cosmic drama playing out above our heads and beneath our feet. We are not separate from Yggdrasil. We are part of it. Every choice we make, every burden we bear, every moment we choose to stand rather than fall, all of this echoes the great tree's own eternal choice. When a mother stays awake all night with a sick child, she is Yggdrasil holding the realms together. When a father works his hands to the bone to provide for his family, he is the cosmic ash bearing its burden of worlds. When friends remain loyal through times of trouble, they are the branches supporting each other against the storm. When we choose love over hatred, hope over despair, connection over isolation, in those moments, we are not just mortals struggling in our small lives. We are expressions of the same force that keeps the great tree standing, the same will that holds the cosmos together, the same love that chooses again and again to bear the weight of existence so that life may continue. Remember this tale, for Yggdrasil is not only the gods' pillar, it is ours. Every tree in every forest is its child. Every root that drinks from the earth mirrors its great anchors. Every branch that reaches toward light follows its example. And every heart that chooses to endure, to protect, to nurture what it loves, every such heart beats with the rhythm of the cosmic ash. The tree stands in darkness as well as light, in winter as well as summer, in ending as well as beginning. It does not stand because the burden is light. The burden is impossibly heavy. It does not stand because the task is easy. The task would break the strongest god. It stands because someone must. Because the alternative is unthinkable. Because in a cosmos where chaos always threatens to tear everything apart, something must choose to hold things together. And so it does. And so it will, through this age and the next, through Ragnarök and rebirth, through all the turnings of the great wheel that has no beginning and no end. The cosmic ash will stand, rooted in wisdom, crowned with light, its heart open to all who seek shelter in its shade. When you leave this fire tonight and walk back to your homes under the star-scattered sky, remember that you walk in the shadow of something magnificent. When you wake tomorrow and face whatever challenges await you, know that you are supported by roots that reach to the foundations of existence itself. And when your time comes to make the hard choices, to stand or fall, to hold on or let go, to choose meaning over emptiness, remember the great tree, and let its example give you strength. For in the end, we are all part of the same story, all leaves on the same infinite tree, all sustained by the same choice to endure that keeps the worlds turning and the light burning in the darkness. And that, my friends, is a tale worth telling, a truth worth remembering, and a burden worth sharing. The tale is told. The fire burns low, but Yggdrasil stands eternal. And its story continues in every choice we make, every kindness we show, every moment we choose to be part of something greater than ourselves. May its branches shelter you, may its roots support you, and may its example inspire you to stand strong in your own part of the great forest of existence. For the tree endures, and so do we all, connected by bonds stronger than iron, deeper than roots, higher than the highest branch. The bonds of story itself, the eternal tale that began before the first word was spoken, and will continue long after the last echo fades into silence.